Today we are talking about kitchen design, and this is the fourth step, which is the design elements out of Design Dominoes, the interior process game. The first was art, and choose your kitchen design by your personal art preference and lifestyle. The next one is move on to your budget, because those things will affect your budget. This is where you start with your appliances, plumbing fixtures, then you move on to your counters, cabinets, flooring, hardware, lighting, all the rest of the components. The next one was your color direction and how that piece of art, your focal art piece for your kitchen, which could be your backsplash tile, could be your granite countertop, could be your flooring, whatever is your focal art piece and shows your lifestyle, that's how you get your color direction. Now we're on to the design elements. Design elements are those key factors that make your kitchen the most wonderful place to entertain, the true heart of the home. In this case, in my kitchen, the design elements that I wanted that brought up the value of our kitchen, and you can too, for not a whole lot more. It's all about the perception and how it feels. You've walked into, now if you want a very clean lined, very straight A style kitchen, you're going to look for things that are really clean, built-in, user-specific, focal point, focal-driven items. If you're dealing in a substantial T-style kitchen, you're going to be looking for more grandeur. You're going to be looking for the substance of a larger hood fan, larger stove, just that more casual comfort. Come in and sit down. In a symmetrical H-style kitchen such as this one, you're looking for symmetry and balance. Even if the room itself does not have a sense of symmetry to it, based on doors are in, off sides, etc., or how the work flow area is, you can still create a sense of symmetry by how you position appliances and the cabinetry around it. In this case, this is part of the design elements that I introduced to create that sense of symmetry. Here, as I explained when I was talking about cabinet doors, this is how I created symmetry around my range by putting an over-the-range microwave, which I told you in one of my previous episodes, is I'd never really liked an over-the-range microwave, but they were very practical in our tiny little kitchen, so it made sense, but I wanted it instead to be a feature, not just something that was, oh, there's a microwave, there's two cabinets on either side, wow, isn't this nice? Why? Why not make it a joy to look at? So, use Pinterest, which I do, use Pinterest, use Google Images, get some things to inspire. In fact, for all of my clients, I have a password protected, and it's a private Pinterest board where we get to throw all of everything that you like, pin it, pin it, pin it. I look at it, can comment back and forth. Then once we figure out what your art and style is, and then I take all of those images and I put it on a password protected page on my website, where now we only see the one thing to focus on, so we don't get distracted by this style, this designer's trend, that mood, that. Stay focused on what is you, your family, then you will enjoy it. You'll save a lot of frustration, time, and money. So back to design details. In here, this is beadboard. What I wanted to do is create a sense of drama over top of the range. Now, because I used a range that was stainless steel with black, to have the black up on the top made a nice uniformed area to put my white cabinets around. By using the beadboard, it gave it a nice, comfortable, classic feel. And then I found this wonderful clock that I put over top of it that ties all the colors in. So that's a design detail. And if you notice, I put a little arch at the very top. Again, those little tiny details. This is set apart here 3 inches so that the cabinets go back 3 inches. Now my microwave sits a little bit ahead of that, and it gives definition. Instead of just being flat, it gives you steps. And as soon as you have steps, the installers don't like it much, but as soon as you do that, the end result is beautiful. Adding crown molding, having the little steps of the crown going all the way up and around just adds to the detail. The other things that are design details, as I showed in the last, I think it was in the budget, because it's the inside guts of the cabinet that also count, was this is a detail. Doing a spice rack inside of a cabinet. Now this works. If you didn't see the other episode, my hubby's 6'5", so he can reach all the way up here. I can't. Okay. On the other side, I don't have that. I've got that as cookbooks and everything else on the other side. These are going to be dishes, and then everything that's our display stuff. I wanted something that was really pretty because we've got a lot of beautiful art, and when you've got a small space, it's nice to have a cabinet that's not going to be messy inside, because you have to understand that that's why you have closed doors. The things that you want to display have a light up above and display your beautiful things that are collections. And you might have to raise them up. I'm actually considering that I might paint the back of those cabinets in charcoal just to kind of match. But just so you know, that beadboard matches our island. So the color that's on the back there is the same. In design elements, one of the key elements is lighting. And there are 3 different types of lighting. There's general lighting. I'm going to show you what general lighting looks like. Wow! Typically, I don't use that often, but if you're really needing to see what you're doing, if you're doing some fine detail stuff, cooking or whatever, general lighting is very important. The next one is ambient lighting. This is what I typically prefer more than anything else, because I don't know if that made a difference there. I'll show you in one of the next episodes that I've also got a track lighting that I've put up that shines down on my other side of the kitchen, which has got the fridge and freezer on it. But this ambient lighting that we were talking about, so there was general lighting, you turn on a switch, everything goes on. That general lighting could also be, because it's over the island, task-oriented lighting. But this is ambient lighting, so this is a task light, but why not make your task light pretty? That's a beautiful light. If I'm doing my dishes, I turn that light on, I've got all the light I need over top of my sink. In this case, I don't need that, but I have ambient light. And what I wanted, this is called light layering. You can always put in a lot of light, and you can always dim it down later. You can't dim up light. You can only dim down light. So make sure that you've got enough light to light your space for the tasks that you're doing, as well as create a very welcoming space afterwards. So that is where I've got my ambient light. And this is LEDs. And if you notice, as I move them up, I've created a light area above for my collectibles on both sides, because remember, this is a symmetrical H classic kitchen, meaning that on both sides of the sink, because this is not a symmetrical layout, but you can create symmetry in a space. So I put glass doors on top of the 2 cabinets beside the sink window, and that gave my symmetry here. But putting lights above, now here's something that I want you to be aware of. People like glass doors, but make sure whatever you're putting behind it is something you want to see all the time, isn't a bunch of dishes that are going to be messed up or books that you're going to see. It's just going to create a sense of clutter. So if you're going to have a glass door, have only your best and your prettiest things that you want to see no matter where you are, especially because they're going to be lit up. The other thing is, make sure that they're on dimmers so that you can bring it right down and create a very welcoming mood. Isn't that pretty? Now, because of our configuration, that's one switch that controls all of our lights. And it controls the light that I've got over top of my over-the-range microwave on the inset by the clock. So, but it creates this nice sense of just warmth. So remember that when you're doing lighting. That is one of the design elements. Another of the design elements is all the keys that go behind your cabinet doors. And that is things like soft closed doors. So when you want the door to close softly, that's what you put in. That's soft close drawers that don't slam shut. That is planning what you want to see in your plumbing fixtures, the details. Your sink, do you want a rectangular sink? Do you want a double sink or a triple sink? Do you want a sink that's got a little bit of style to it? In mine, I wash pots and pans and big roasters. I did not want a single sink. I wanted a double sink, but I wanted what was called a low divide. And the low divide allows me to put in a big pot and still have water or a place to drain on the other side. So for me, that made the most sense. Having an instant hot water faucet, brilliant, I love it so much. And having a soap dispenser, so handy, fantastic. A swivel handle, high faucet for my general purpose, perfect. The only thing I wish I had was a little sink in the island, but due to our configuration, we couldn't even do that. But, you know, there's compromises. No matter where you are and what you do, doesn't matter how much money you have, doesn't matter your location, there's always going to be compromises. But I'm pretty happy so far with all the compromises we had to do. The other thing is I put in a little light balance, that's again design detail, to hide some of the lights. A lot of times now what they do is they do what's called a double layer in the door. So the one cabinet, I can show it better here. So instead of having just one, they'll put two and they'll recess the light right in. So if you don't like having a light balance, you like that more that clean line look, that's simply what they do. It's basically a double bottom shelf. Now here's one of those design details. Remember in budget I said the dollar is in the doors? Well, guess what? It's also in the cabinets. Typically, when you put in glass door cabinet with, and just so you know that this is a fully custom kitchen. This is not something that you would get at one of the construction stores, the big box stores. This was 100% designed by me, custom made by me, or custom made by Cabico, actually, a wonderful, fantastic company in Quebec. And they produced these beautiful cabinets that I enjoy every single day. Anyway, one of the ways that I was able to save money was create one box. So this is one box, because typically having glass doors would require two boxes, one on top, one on the bottom, and then you would have what they call a finished panel. Go take a look in your kitchen and see if you've got a panel that sticks out over here. If you do, that's called a finished or a plank-on panel, sorry. A finished panel is what you see here, which means that this edge is the outside edge of my cabinet. And it's finished on the outside, so I didn't have to add more space that would take away the space from the inside of the cabinet. Plus, what I did is I had them put a stationary shelf there. So that's integral to the cabinet, and then put double doors on top. So now it's one cabinet, 4 doors. And the 2 top doors were the only doors that had glass in them. Again, because glass doors actually cost more money, because it's not just the door, now you got to get the glass. And I put in seed glass because I just liked the look. It gave that heritage look that I was looking for. That's a whole nother, get into the glass styles. Wow. Email me at jan@janaddamsdesign.com if you want real information on how to design a kitchen. But anyway, right now, that's a little quick tip on a finished panel as opposed to a plank-on panel. Those plank-on panels cost money. This is at least half, if not a third, of putting on a plank-on panel. So, one way to save money. In, let's see, the details, one of the other details, hardware. Hardware is very important. Remember how color direction was? I went to the blacks and the grays and let the focal point be that wonderful warm red. Well, I wanted to find the black handles. I didn't want stainless steel because I don't think, well, that's number one. To me, the stainless steel did not look appropriate as a handle on a very traditional door in this. This actually joined the counter and the sink and the little bit of blacks and grays in the brick. So this little bird cage is also great for grabbing on. Here's what I want you to do. My hubby originally liked the cup pulls for all the drawers. So I got one. And if you're wondering about it, go and get one and feel it and play it and understand how those work. Because you're going to be grabbing that door, that drawer every day. How does it feel? Do you like how it feels? If you don't put it in. There's some handles that have got, it's a very tactile thing. Feel how the edges are. Make sure that they're not rough, they're not catching. Also feel how you grab the door. Those that have got long nails or whatever, if they're gouging into the door, guess what? You're going to have scratches on your door. Logical, right? Anyway, the other thing is, I go to wonderful places that are like Habitat for Humanity, Restore, consignment home places where they are getting rid of building products. And I actually found, remember, treasure hunter, I actually found these handles and I paid $2.50 a handle for them rather than the going rate of $7 to $15. So you can find, mind you, I had to hunt and peck and get enough, but when you can find things that make your place really personal, that's half the fun. Half the fun is in the hunt. So I hope that's giving you a little bit, I could talk on and on and on. There's so many details in this kitchen that were thought out, and I will pull together some images with just the details of what went on behind a door, broom closet as an example. How I save money by putting in upper cabinet over top of a drawer bank instead of pullouts. All these are design details. The devil's in the details, they truly are. And if you want that, that would be kind of a little bonus video that I would give you on the design details. But I think I've done enough for right now. Understand that your art and lifestyle leads to your budget, which leads to your color direction, which leads to your design elements. Now the next one, the fifth one of the 8 steps of Design Dominoes, the interior process game, design around existing features. Up next.